Hey y'all, Anonymous Fox here, and today we're talking about a game I have a long love-hate relationship with, and over the past couple years, it's seen its ups and downs. Today, we are going to be diving into the world of Destiny 2. Alright, now hear me out. Covering Destiny 2 right now might seem super bizarre, given the fact it's probably at one of the worst states it's ever been in. I would say that the current season, as of this recording, Season of the Worthy, is by far the worst season in Destiny 2 history. I mean, I really think it's been worse than Curse of Osiris. And I mean, Curse itself was a good story and lore expansion, but during year 1, Destiny 2 had so many issues, and I think a lot of people wanted so much to be fixed, and there was just no way it was going to happen in that time frame. That, combined with the overall short length of the DLC and the fact that the weapons themselves and the entire weapon and armor system in the game at the time were just horrible. It's why I think most people give that expansion such a hard time. However, I would contend Season of the Worthy gets to wear that crown of sorrow. The lore of the game is in a great place if you're a lorehead, like myself, but the actual activities we are doing are they're just lame. Public events that are passing for in-game content, reskin after reskin, a botched exotic quest which the community basically refused to do until it was nerfed into the ground, bug after bug, a completely botched Trials return full of cheaters and card farming antics, and an overall story that really makes zero sense to be happening right now in the Destiny timeline. I mean, Destiny has a ton of great storylines and unfinished business, so why do we get an entire season dedicated to the Red Legion? Again, how many times have we defeated these guys? Tossing a spaceship at the city while we play Guardian games. It's kind of a head scratcher. Still, I have some hope for the future of the game. The overall game loop is still amazing, the gunplay, weapons, and system are all very good. I think I speak for a lot of people that play Destiny when I say I'm just tired of doing the same things over and over. Destiny 2 has turned into a bounty simulator. I've been running the same strikes for years now, doing the same raids for some time as well, playing Crucible on the same maps. Nothing is evolving. The locations are just still static. Voice lines from characters are still saying the same things they did in year 1. Ventures is still not sending shipments. Wormspore is still getting smuggled out of the city. Hawthorne is still shocked we defeated Gaul, and Salone has not managed to clean up Titan at all. It's still a shithole full of Hive. We keep getting reskin guns and armor. If there has ever been a game that got the most out of reusing assets, it's Destiny. It's time for Bungie to step up, and they need to deliver in this upcoming season in a big way, and hopefully lead us to a huge fall release. One with a cohesive story that we actually play, and not just read about in lore tabs. Some actual new content, new adventures, and deliver on that evolving world. But I digress. I don't want to just complain about the current state of the season. Over the past several weeks, Bungie has shared some pretty transparent twabs with us that go over a lot of changes in the upcoming seasons and beyond. With the new season a week away, it's time to get prepared and look at getting ready for another new season of Destiny. I'm looking forward to the new season. The storyline is set up as well as it could ever be to face the darkness. I also think we're going to learn about the Stone Crypt. Perhaps we may even get a new Hunter Vanguard, or at least an update on Uldren, but I wouldn't hold my breath on that. Alright, so what's going to be good next season? I primarily play Crucible on PC, so my lens is a bit more focused in that direction. And with that in mind, here are my predictions on what is going to be good moving into the season. Auto rifles will still be good. Some might be better than others. Season of the auto rifle has been interesting. A lot of people liked the changes, even though it took me some time to appreciate it. It looks like 600 RPM autos might get some adjustments to make room for other autos. According to the TWAB on May 21st, they are getting looked at. They say that they are not rolling back the Season 10 buff. These, and probably other autos, should still be super viable next season. I've still been using Searle's Regime, Gallinart, and even Ghost Primus as my go-to autos this season, and they have worked really well. Perhaps with the changes I can pull up my amazing Stillfeather Repeater. One of the reasons they have been so good, besides the buff they got, was the seasonal artifact that also had some super good mods and super cheap auto rifle perks. Even with these going away, they are still very potent weapons. In the TWABs dated 5/21/2020, Bungie also laid out the upcoming changes to reload-based perks. This will shuffle around some perks for sure, and there are no real winners here. Feeding Frenzy and Rapid Hit are getting nerfed pretty hard. Drop Mag, which is one of my personal favorite perks for primary weapons, is taking a small hit along with Outlaw. The only one that remains unchanged is Alloy Mag, which is decent and probably the fastest reload perk in the game now. It's been good to know as I've been working on farming some specific guns for next season, and knowing these changes are in the works is a big help on what perks to farm. Go farm a Premonition! High impact pulse rifles are getting a buff. They go from 21 to 22 a bullet, and while that does not sound huge, it puts them in 2-tap range. In the same TWAB, Bungie said these were underused in Crucible. Well, I can understand why. There's only 3 or so current ones in the game. Redrix, Einstein D, and Premonition. And in my opinion, Redrix is unusable as its sight picture is horrid. Einstein D can be picked up from Banshee for gunsmith materials, and Premonition is from the moon. It can be picked up from the Pit of Heresy dungeon and is farmable with a Hymn of Desecration, a quest you can get from Eris, but the drop rate is pretty low. Still, this is an excellent pulse with by far the best perks, at least for PC. And it's going to really shine next season with the changes. I luck-sacked mine on the first week of the Pit of Heresy, and I highly recommend it. Slug shotties are getting a huge buff in PvE, and I love my Chaperone. And now it's 30% more effective, and it looks like we'll be able to use it outside of Crucible for like the first time ever. If you're a fan of the Slugs, you should try to farm up a Blasphemous from the Altar event on the moon before next season. This will let you run a Slug Shoddy without using up your exotic slot. It's every 3 days and can roll with some sweet perks. I'm still farming for my quick draw opening shot accurized round version. The Last Word should be back. Some of you may hate this, but as a player that likes to pair the Last Word with a good sniper, this is some good news. Hipfire Grip is getting some love and is going to help hit shots closer to the ADS range. Speaking of hand cannons, we might get some love for the 110s. We don't know what the full extent of the change is, but Bungie's breaking them out so they can tune their range. Range on hand cannons was gutted pretty hard at the start of Season 10, so much so that the range stat really doesn't matter anymore. If you want a full breakdown of the major nerf to hand cannons, check out Cool Guy's video link in the description. The side effect of this change is that I have not seen much use of anything but 150 hand cannons. I have some amazing rolled 110s sitting in my vault that would be fun to play with. This change has the potential to totally break Crucible, so let's hope they're careful. Less busy work. Overall, changes to bounties are a welcoming sight. In the May 14th TWAB, Bungie laid out plans for a new engram system that looks like it might actually be fun. These engrams will be able to be targeted so you can work towards getting the loot you're actually looking for. Now, if we could just get them to stop drowning us in blues after a Crucible match. Last but not least, the biggest topic and the one that has everyone up in arms is the sunsetting of weapons and armor. This does not start until Season 12, and there is still a lot of questions around it. I could do an entire video on this, and hell, I might, but overall, I think this can be very good for the game if implemented correctly. If Bungie just moves forward and gives us reskins of the guns in the future, which is something I am very much afraid of based on the track record of them doing reskins, it will be a major bad way of implementing this. But nevertheless, it's not going to be an issue for Season 11 at least. So, that's my list of changes that I'm excited for about Season 11. I really hope we get a really good story, a new fun activity, and an actual evolution of the game along with these changes. I'm not holding my breath, but this really feels like a do-or-die time for Bungie. Again, can they pull off another Forsaken comeback this fall? Will Season 11 live up to the in-game hype we've all been seeing? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Later!